Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about the lesson for today. We will continue our objective from last time, which is to translate sentences into equations by understanding the problems. So let's look at our first example. So for this one says a jelly bean manufacturer produces 1,250,000 jelly beans per hour. How many hours does it take them to produce 10 million jelly beans? So let's look at the important information. So I know it says that it makes 1,250,000 jelly beans per hour. That means that every hour they make 1,250,000. And they're asking us to find out how many hours would it take to make 10 million. So that's the question that we need to answer. So let's see. So let's translate that into an equation, and maybe that could help us answer the question. So first of all, I know that 1,250,000 jelly beans per hour means times. Every time you see the word per, it means times. So that means that 1,250,000 times hour. So in this case, let me use an H for hour. So that means that if I spend 2 hours, that will be 2 times 1,250,000. That will tell me how many I will make in 2 hours. And if I want to know how much would I make in 3 hours, I will multiply by 3. If I want to know how much I will make in 4 hours, I'll multiply by 4, and so on. But in this case, I want to find out how much would it take me to make 10 million. So that means that I need to figure it out. 1,250,000 times H will give me 10 million. So what is how many hours? So one way to do it is to divide both sides by 1,250,000. So it's basically we're doing the opposite to figure out how many hours would it take. So on the left side, it's basically going to cross out because 1,250,000 divided by the same thing is 1. So we don't need to write down the 1, so we just cross it out. Bring down the H, and then 10 million divided by 1,250,000. So there's a trick where you can just cancel the zeros, or you can just put that in your calculator, but it does take a while if you put all the zeros. But in any case, we will get the same answer. So in this case, it will be 8 hours. What this means, it means that it would take 8 hours to make 10 million jelly beans, which is what we were looking for. And we figured out it's a few hours, but that's what it takes to make 10 million. So let's look at our second example. So it says translate the sentence into a formula. And the sentence says the perimeter of a square equals 4 times the length of a side. So one of the first things that we need to ask ourselves, do we know the definition of perimeter? And remind ourselves what it is. So perimeter means to look for the length around our figure. So in this case, it's a square. And one thing about squares is that all the sides have the same length. So if one side is 10, that means that the other sides are also 10. So in this case, we don't know the length of the sides of the square. So when we don't know, in algebra we always mark it with either a variable or a variable, which could be any letter. So in this case, let me use x. So let's say if one side is x, that means that all of them are x. Now that I have that information figured out, I'm going to start translating my sentence. So it says the perimeter. So for perimeter, we're going to use the variable p. That makes it easy to understand it. So p for perimeter. And then it says of a square equals. So that means the equal sign. And then it says 4 times. So that means 4. And then times is obviously times, so multiplication. So I can just put the little dot as a symbol of multiplication. Let's not use the x. and then it says 4 times the length of a side. So the length of the side we said we didn't know, but so we marked it as x. So that means that we're gonna do 4 times x. So I'm gonna put x. And I think we finished translating the sentence into an equation. Let me just fix it. So instead of putting the dot, I can just put the 4 next to the x, and it means the same thing, but it looks nicer. And that's it. That's all you have to do for this example. Alright, so now it's your turn. On assignments, click on Notes 2.1 Example 2 and 3. It's going to open the Google form, which means it's multiple choice. You have a sentence for each, and you're going to translate and figure out the answer. Specifically for the first one, you're looking for the answer, and then for 2, you're translating the formula. So which formula is the correct one. And that's it. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and I'll help you.